In this video we're going to talk about goodness of fit test, and in particular the one called chi-square test. It's a very useful and widely applied technique which I'm going to show you how to use it on an example of random number generation. So I'm going to generate the random numbers from a certain distribution, and then I'm going to use this test to test whether the numbers which I generated are actually coming from the desired distribution. And if you think about it, this could be one of the tools which you could use for testing or debugging your code, right? The random number generation code can be very simple, but it's also very easy to make a mistake somewhere. And using this kind of a test, you could ensure that your numbers are from a desired distribution. But maybe more, how would I say, more common use of this tool is in testing the distributional assumptions in the modeling. So let's say if you are running some sort of maybe regression or a forecasting model, and in that model you're assuming that maybe errors are coming from, let's say, normal distribution. So sometimes it makes sense to actually test whether the errors or whether the data is coming from a certain distribution which you're assuming while you're modeling. So that would be more common use of a technique. So before we look at the example in Excel, I thought we would first go through theory, and I put it quote unquote. It's not real deep theory of anything, but we will look at a couple of formulas, right? And I pulled these formulas and actually these excerpts from a page to which I'm giving you the URL, right? Here's a URL that is from the Handbook of Statistical Tools of National Institute of Standards. I highly recommend this resource. They have a wealth of information and it's very high quality. So how do they define this chi-squared technique? In essence, what you're doing is the following. You're building the histogram. So you take your data and then just basically build a histogram, and then test that histogram against the theoretical histogram, like let's say call it true histogram, right? How are we going to do it? Well, let's suppose you have 1,000 observations. Let's say you have a sample of 1,000 numbers. Then you are going to take these numbers and while building a histogram, you group them into bins, right? So maybe from 0 to 1, from 1 to 2, and so on. The test will not tell you how to bin the numbers, but generally it's a good idea to I wouldn't say bin them in equal size, but it's a good idea not to have bins which are too small, and you don't need too many bins either. In Excel example, I will have 1,000 observations and 10 bins. So you group the observation into bins, and then you count how many fell into each bin, and that would be OI in this formula, right? So it would be observed number of observations in a bin. What is E? E is expected. So for each bin, you can calculate how many observations should fall into it. So using the cumulative distribution function, you can estimate out of 1,000 observations how many should go into each bin. So in a way, you can think of EI as a true number, or that's if this was an ideal case, how many observations would be in that bin, right? Expected number. So now look at the form of the statistics. So you go through all the bins, let's say 10 bins, right? 1 through 10, if k was 10. And then you calculate the deviation from that expected. So you get observed minus expected and square it and divide it by expected. So when you present this number in this form, and then you sum up all the bins, all these squared observations, The number is called the test statistic of this test. So the chi-square is the test statistics which you got from the data. It depends on which bins you did, right? So again, as I said, the test will not tell you how to split the observations into bins, but once you did it, you would be able to calculate all these numbers. And then what? Well, then you compare this test statistics versus against the critical value. So you see, we are applying here a standard inference techniques, which you should know from, I would say, like statistics, intermediate statistics maybe, right? You form a null hypothesis and alternative. So the null hypothesis in this case is that the data is from that specific distribution. That's your null. It's a very optimistic null. You think, well, my null hypothesis, I'm starting with assuming my data is coming from that distribution. And now if your test statistics is greater than the critical value, then unfortunately you'll have to reject. So you want this chi-square to be small. And if you think about it, why you want it small, look at this, how you calculate it, right? You calculate the square deviations. So obviously, if deviations are very small, it means you're very close to expected numbers, so the number will be small. And if you know chi-square distribution, then you should recognize this form because it looks like a sum of squared random numbers. And chi-square distribution actually it comes from the sums of independent random normal distributed numbers. So if you get k numbers and then k independent standard normal numbers and add them up, square them and then add them up, the resulting squared sum of squares will be distributed by chi-squared of the degrees of freedom k. But in this case, what you are doing is you are looking at k minus c. What is k minus c? C is the number of parameters in your distribution. So in my example, in Excel example, I'll use two parameters. So my k will be 10 because I use 10 bins, and c would be 2. So k minus c would be 8 degrees of freedom. Then I'm going to look at that critical value, right, which I can get from the chi-squared inverse chi-squared distribution. So I think we went through theory more or less, right? So there's some number, we calculate square deviations, right? And then we compare them against some critical value. And then if it's greater than critical value, means deviations are too big, right? Quote unquote. Then we'll have to unfortunately reject the assumption that the numbers are coming from that distribution. We'll have to reject the null hypothesis. Okay, so what are the features of this test? Well, one is that it requires and it also depends on binning. So you have to take numbers and, you know, like in a histogram, you have to build a histogram. So that is not necessarily a disadvantage, right? Because if it's a continuous distribution, you can still bin them. Or if it's a discrete distribution, you can use two. Then maybe you don't even need to bin, right? You just get the numbers, get the outcomes of that discrete distribution. But in any case, you need to bin. I repeated this word too many times, but it's required, and it also depends on binning, right? So if your bins are different, your number, your test statistic will be different. So that is, how would I say, that is not, that's not a desirable feature of this test. Then, as I said, it works with any univariate distribution. So any univariate distribution will work with this, right? Okay, now maybe it's time to look at the Excel example.